High Spots and Cheap Pops presents your moment in the Valley Crown Jewel preview. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that semi-annual time where WWE goes back to, of course, the great kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And the crowd is raucous, as we saw yesterday in the Crown Jewel kickoff. Wow, I mean, Saudi Arabia really brought it. But very much a sausage fest. And I'm not sure why. I guess women really don't like wrestling in Saudi Arabia. As you can see, the crowd is, I mean, pretty much all men. I don't see a girl there. But what's that? Shakira law? The only Shakira law I know is that her hips will not lie. Sharia law. Let's just see what that is. Oh. Well, that's why. So an audience of 100% males gathered yesterday in a raucous fashion to cheer on the WWE superstars that were kicking off Crown Jewel. And wait a minute. How'd those two white girls get in there? Stop the presses. Holy cow. They're dressed normal too? Jeez Louise. Now they were white. They look very European, at least, at the very least. So I'm not 100% sure if they were local. But yeah, Sharia law. Look that up, Saudi Arabia. I digress. We're here to talk about the preview, and we're here to talk about the matches. We're here to talk about Blood Money 2024, Part D. And I'm also going to be passing along Vladdy Dotties. Match number one, we're going to talk about LA Knight defending his United States Championship against Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, who had a really nice series, 7-match series. I've seen better. I mean, they were good matches. Again, I'm not sure Carmelo Hayes is going to relate or translate to the main roster. I've been very skeptical of that. He seems kind of like a generic heel. Doesn't feel like it comes from here. And we've seen that with a lot of guys. I mean, we saw it with Austin Theory. And now Triple H isn't going to have a fetish over somebody and just keep on pushing them until, even if they're not connecting with the fans. Triple H realizes if they're not connecting with the fans, he's going to cut bait. Me and Vladdy both think it's too soon for LA Knight to lose, and neither Andrade or Carmelo Hayes are over enough to put a championship on them. So pretty easy one there. Everyone talking about the winner, LA Knight. Yeah. Hoping for a heel turn soon with LA Knight. He had a little bit of heel tendencies, got a little bit booed last week when he interfered in that match as their special guest referee. So I think LA Knight can do a lot bigger things as a heel than a babyface. On to Women's Tag Team Championship. This is a filler match, very little build. I would love if my girl Chelsea Green and Piper Niven wound up winning these tag titles. You can beat Cargill and Bianca without pitting them again. That's how they lost it the first time. They have not booked this women's tag division very, very well at all. It's a disaster. I don't care about this match for the most part. However, me and Vladdy both believe Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair will continue to reign. See them lose the title somewhere around the Royal Rumble, maybe a little bit later, and then setting up a WrestleMania match between Bianca and Jade Cargill. Hopefully, Jade Cargill has an ability to have a decent singles match. She has not proven that she can do that in WWE whatsoever. She wasn't that great in AEW either. That's why a lot of AEW fans didn't care when she left. She was kind of like all sizzle and no substance kind of vibe, and that's what a lot of people thought. But for Vladdy and myself, the champions will retain. And then we will go to Seth Freakin Rollins, my boy, against Big Bronson Reed. I don't think Seth loses his first match back. However, Bronson Reed could use the win. I actually went with Seth Rollins, where my boy Vladdy, he actually went with Bronson Reed, and it would help Bronson Reed to win. He just lost to Braun Strowman, so I see why Vladdy did that. And I wish I could change my opinion, because I think actually Bronson Reed probably will win, but I did go with Seth Rollins just because it's his first match back, and he's got to kind of solidify himself as a top guy. But he can sustain and absorb that loss, and he can get the comeback, on a Raw a couple weeks later. So I probably screwed that one up. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. I don't think it makes any sense for Randy Orton to win this match. Kevin Owens is going to be fed to Cody to kind of give Cody a couple months before we head into WrestleMania season. You're going to see Cody and Kevin Owens at Survivor Series in all likelihood. And Vladi Dottie went with Kevin Owens, and so did I. Look for Kevin Owens to attack Orton and hurt Orton for an extended period of time. Maybe Orton takes a couple of weeks off, comes back sometime after Survivor Series, getting ready for the Royal Rumble. Liv Morgan and Nia Jax. And it might even be Tiffy time, but we have to check that out. I don't think she cashes in successfully if she does, but we'll have to see. But Vladi Dottie and I myself both pick Nia Jax here. They are trying to make her the most dominant woman in wrestling history, in at least in recent WWE Women's Championship history, trying to make her seem this dominant. They've been calling her dominant. Look for Rhea possibly to win the Royal Rumble and then challenge Liv, but somebody's going to have to challenge Nia Jax. Maybe they make it a three-way between Jade, Cargill, Bianca, Belair, and Nia Jax. I'm not sure. That it could be on the table as well. But for this match, we think Nia Jax is going to continue her dominant role, and she beats Liv Morgan and becomes the very first Crown Jewel Women's Champion. Woo! It seems to be the case that the Bloodline match is going to be the main event. By reports you're seeing online now, dirt sheets, they are about 20% right, and they are the scum of the earth. So I don't want to give too much. What I'm going to do is give the matches that means the most out of these two, the matches that I think have the most prestige and care for them. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think you have your two top champions not close the show. It's discounting both championships over Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. Now, that might be, they've done it before, and that might be the case. But I would honestly prefer Cody and Gunther to close this particular card. So we're going to do the Bloodline match first here. So Roman Reigns and the Usos take on what I'm not sure the threesome that they're going to go with there. There are rumors that Solo has been preventative-wise, he's been kind of nursing an injury, so he might not be in this match. It might be just Jacob Fatu and the Bullet Club B-sides, Tonga and Tama. But I'm not sure. Either way, I think the new Bloodline wins. We might see a debuting Hikuleo. I don't think Sami Zayn has anything to do with this match. I think that's something that they're going to move forward with. And I think they're going to see that that the OG Bloodline can't handle it if Hikuleo shows up tonight. Or Zilla Fatu. There's both of them are out there. And even Lance Anoa'i is out there too, but I don't think Lance is quite at the level of, and by the way, Lance actually was my trainer in WXWC4. I trained at the Wild Samoan Training Center, and Lance Anoa'i personally trained me. So I wish him nothing, and I hope he does get signed by WWE and gets part of this Bloodline. But I don't know if he's, in terms of popularity and in terms of what people are thinking, I don't know if Lance is a guy. Hikuleo has already been signed from what people say. He's 6'9". He was a former tag team champion and I believe a former neverweight champion in IWG in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So Hikuleo is ready to go, and he's the tallest and biggest of the group. And with that, you also have Zilla Fatu, who's young but still fantastic. Lance is a little bit longer in the tooth. Lance is, I think, in his mid-30s at this particular point in time. So Zilla Fatu is quite younger, so WWE might go that way instead of Lance. But I'm not sure. I hope they do pick Lance because, again, he trained me and he showed me how to do back bumps correctly and run the ropes correctly and all that kind of stuff. So I really hope Lance does get an opportunity. I just don't see it happening just quite yet. Now, that said, Lottie Dottie and myself both think the new Bloodline wins. They lost the last one between Cody and Roman, and there's this ongoing theme that the new old G Bloodline needs help. They need to get the whole family together. I think what you're going to see at Survivor Series, if I was guessing, I think Zilla Fatu does join up with the Roman Reigns faction, and I think Hikuleo will go with the Solo faction. And then he could be maybe not the enforcer, but maybe a second heater, of course. I see Jacob Fatu turning babyface within the next year. And I even think that it might be Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. I'm not sure if that's the case, but this guy's a star, and they already know it. But they're trusting the process. And again, Triple H with this bloodline, he likes to slow burn. But both Lottie Dottie and myself are picking the new bloodline, Solo Sikoa and company. And now we go on to the men's crown jewel championship. Gunther! Are we going to be able to say that anymore? I'm not sure. Against the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes. What do you want to talk about? Well, this is one where Vladi and I differ as well. We differ on the Seth Rollins and Big Bronson Reed match, and we're going to differ here as well. I actually went with Cody Rhodes. Reason being, I think Bill Goldberg, the Saudi Arabia men, well, predominantly men, except for the two white women in the Saudi Arabian men love their Goldberg. Wonder if it's a gay thing. Maybe it's a repressed gay situation there. He is so strong in his trapezoids. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what kind of accent that was. But I went with Cody Rhodes because I think Bill Goldberg, because the Saudis love Bill Goldberg, they need a surprise, and they pay tens of millions of dollars per event. WWE brings in revenue in Saudi Arabia over $100 million per year for these events. That's why they do them, folks. So how do you make a big splash? Bill Goldberg and Gunther, which will be a match and probably Bill Goldberg's last match. I think Goldberg gets involved. Lottie Dottie's of the opinion that Kevin Owens is going to get involved. It could be both. Kevin Owens could come in and seemingly cost Cody the match, but then you can have Goldberg come in and even the odds because Goldberg's not happy. He got in the ring. It was clearly planned. And despite the fact Triple H doesn't like Bill Goldberg, and I don't like Bill Goldberg either, I never have. I didn't like him when he was big. I thought he was an overrated bum who was all, again, similar to Jade Cargill and the guy like the Ultimate Warrior, all sizzle and no substance whatsoever. I don't mean his people. Goldberg seems like a nice guy. I have no problems with Goldberg as a human being. And I have certainly no problems with Jade Cargill. She seems like a great, strong woman. Love her to death. Ultimate Warrior was a piece of shit, and his goofy wife isn't very bright. But that's all right, even though I hate talking about the dead like that. Fuck Hitler, too, though, right? Am I right? America's Hitler. Anywho, look up J.D. Vance and America's Hitler. Let's see who J.D. Vance thinks America's Hitler was. Go ahead. Google. It's all there. Vladi-Dot, but like as I said, Vladi-Dottie picks Kevin Owens interfering on behalf of Gunther. Gunther becomes the new crown jewel champion. I think the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes is going to be the first crown jewel champion. Also, I think he's done the ring thing before with the Ring of Honor. So hopefully you guys have a fantastic Saturday and enjoy Crown Jewel. But don't expect to get laid unless you want to get blayed by this guy. Here endeth the lesson. Hit the subscribe button and let us know what you think. Thank you for watching, and here endeth the lesson.